Shalom, brothers and sisters. So let's talk mosquitoes. I want to touch on this, and before I even start, there's three articles that I want to go through. But I live in Phalaborwa in South Africa. This is one of the highest mosquito malaria areas. I had friends in school many years ago that got malaria and actually died because it had affected the brain. I had malaria 3 or 4 times, hospitalized when I was younger, my son's age, and it just repeatedly kept hitting me. Now, since I've been back in Phalaborwa, thank the Lord, not once, not me or my family, but it's like living with flying, how can I say, little time bombs all around you. We've got the mosquitoes, they're here all the time, they're really irritating. I mean, at the point where we say we wish they'd just drink their blood and go without the itching, number one, would be great, and number two, without the singing in absolute joy, because that's the irritating part. Be quiet about it, do your thing and get out of here and don't let me itch. No worries, I got enough blood for you. But it's irritating. But even with all of that and with the measures you take and things you use to try and keep them away, again, thank the Lord, we haven't had malaria. But it is a real thing. It is something that we live with, and it is an expectation of a normal thing that can happen to you amongst other really bad things, diseases that can occur too. But we trust in the Lord. But now I live in an area where this is normal. It's natural. It occurs here as it should. Right? That's the way nature is set up in this part of the world. Most other places in the world, that is not the case, especially with malaria. It's not what you expect. Not in the United States for most of the part. Not like we have it here. But anyway, let's get into this. We'll start with the facts. Gates-funded World Mosquito Program engages in gain-of-function research. The organization makes 30 million mosquitoes a week, all for the purposes of lowering viral infections. Now, why would we want to make more mosquitoes when they're already so irritating? Why would you mess with that? Why would we trust Gates and the World Health Organization and those people with gain-of-function research and mosquitoes? It just, again, immediately your alarm bell should be going off. Billionaire Bill Gates funds the world's largest mosquito factory in Medellin, Colombia, which is part of the World Mosquito Program, and releases thousands of altered mosquitoes per week using gelatin capsules, drones, and motorcycles. The World Mosquito Program's goal is to protect the global community from mosquito-borne diseases such as dengue, Zika, yellow fever, and chikungunya. The World Mosquito Program releases these mosquitoes in 11 countries, including Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, and Australia. If a male mosquito infected with Wolbachia mates with an uninfected female, the eggs will not hatch. Author Tabra Berkey says, if an infected female mates with an uninfected male, the offspring will be infected, as will be the case if both parents are infected. Berkey notes that it only takes a few generations of domestic mosquitoes to be contaminated by the bacteria. This sounds a lot like the program with the snake bite, doesn't it? In America, World Mosquito Program's sister program, Oxitec, has been releasing altered mosquitoes, but instead of using Wolbachia bacterium, Oxitec genetically modified the actual mosquito. The self-limiting gene is at the heart of the Oxitec method of pest control and is turned to work optimally in the target species. When our friendly males are released and reproduce with pest females, their offspring inherit the copy of the self-limiting gene. According to the website, protein overproduction disrupts the insect's normal development and ability to survive to adulthood. Again, a lot of comparisons here for me. Margaret Osborne noted back in March of 2022 that pilot groups of these mosquitoes had already been released in the Florida Keys, and larger groups would be released on the US mainland. The Environmental Protection Agency cleared the release for 2.4 billion genetically modified mozzies in California and Florida. Florida natives expressed concern about the release of genetically modified mosquitoes, especially ones that carry a lethal self-destructive gene. Other individuals, such as presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., doubt the intentions of Gates' efforts. Should Bill Gates be releasing 30 million genetically modified mosquitoes into the wild? He tweeted. What could possibly go wrong? Good question there, Kennedy. Good question. Which brings us to our next article. For the first time in 20 years, malaria infections are confirmed in people who did not travel outside the United States. Wonder where that could have come from. For the first time in 2 decades, malaria infections have been confirmed in the people who have not left the United States, leading federal health authorities to warn about the potential for transmission of mosquito-borne disease within the nation's borders. What wasn't Gates' whole pitch to stop disease and end all those things? Now suddenly you guys have got a problem. According to MSN, 4 people in Sarasota County and 1 in Cameron Valley were confirmed as having been infected between late May and late June through local transmission. All have gotten treatment and are recovering. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is on the case. Risk of mosquito-borne diseases is rising in Europe, health agency says. London, June 22, Europe has recorded almost as many locally caught cases of dengue in 2022 as it had over the last 11 years. There were 71 cases of the disease, which generally causes fever and muscle pain but can sometimes be fatal last year, in France mainly. Between 2010 and 2021, there were 74 cases. The health agency warned at a press conference on Thursday that there is an increasing risk of a number of mosquito-borne diseases in the European region, including, strangely enough, all the diseases they were removing. Dengue, Zika, chikungunya, West Nile virus, and so on, linked to the changing climate and the spread of mosquitoes carrying the virus. It's not linked to Bill Gates. It's not linked to the fact that he has a warehouse full of mosquitoes and he's releasing them all over the world. It's not linked to the fact that they've been using it for gain-of-function research or tweaking it scientifically and playing God. It's got nothing to do with that. It's because of climate change. Seriously going to trade my tinfoil hat in and get me a clown hat if I'm going to start believing any of this rubbish that they're dishing out that the masses are just eating up. This is easy to trace to its source, people. Very. But people don't see the facts. Like they can't see the fingers in front of the face anymore because they're too busy looking at the incorrect rainbow colors and the indoctrination and hating who they're told to hate, while the world slips into final position for what's about to happen. It's exciting though, because we're leaving shortly. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.